Hey, Miss Ellen, how are you?
Yeah, turn it off.
That's the big one. Or good. Oh, we did, yeah, upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Madam Attorney, can you hear us?
Still just hang around, lights on.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Today is Monday, June 30th, 2025. This is the City of Camilla called council meeting. This meeting was called by council members Lorraine, council member Palmer, and council member Collins here in the City of Camilla. Just a quick refresher, whenever there is something that needs to be handled, the mayor on his own authority can call a call meeting, and or 3 council members can call a call meeting. And today, the 3 council members thought it was important that we discuss this item today, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But just want to call the meeting to order, and at this time, I'm going to turn to our city clerk and city manager, Cheryl Ford, to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Blaine. Here. Councilman Burley. Councilman Morgan. Councilman Collins.
Here.
Councilman Maples.
Here.
Councilman Palmer.
There.
All right, thank you, council, and thank you, Cheryl. At this time, I'd like to turn to Councilman Maples to lead us in prayer, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for us coming together in your name one time, Lord, for just giving you the grace and mercy. And Lord, just thank you just for just giving us another day just to breathe. And Lord, as we go to this meeting, Lord, that your will be done. And then we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Councilman Maples, thank you, sir, for that. And at this time, council, is there a motion to approve the agenda for today?
Motion to approve.
Motion properly second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you, council. All right, any speaker appearances? Any speaker appearances? All right, hearing none, we'll go right into item 5, consider and certify 2025 estimated rollback rate, resolution number 2025-06-30-1. And at this time, I'll turn it over to the District 2 delegation. Talk about while we're here.
Well, this just brought to our attention that the county has requested as best practices that we approve this before July 1st, and they have to send out tax notices.
Okay. Okay. Any other follow-up or comments?
Well, the other 3 cities in the county have all done this, so we don't need to be the city that, tax district in the city, in the county that does not do this.
All right. So what I recommend, council members, is that we get into, well, I think it's important to have the discussion prior to the motion, because I think in the motion it's gonna have to be an estimated rate, if you will. So it may be worth, having that discussion, or what I can do is ask for a motion to certify a rate, and in the discussion portion of the meeting, or in the discussion portion of the motion, discuss what rate would be ideal. And then no, can't do that way either. So let's just have a discussion about what it is that the council would like to see the rate to be, and we'll incorporate that inside of the motion when we get there. So all of this is still germane to item 5. So any issues with that, Madam Attorney?
No, I think it's a great idea.
Okay. All right. So with that, council, is there an estimated rate that folks are thinking of?
I recommend we follow the recommendation from this, proposed, from the digest 6.135. That would be down from 6.165, which would, bring us to the same amount of money that, previous year.
All right. So there's 2 issues. I like where you're going with the recommendation, but there's 2 things. So 165 or 6.165 was the rate for 2023, I believe. Yeah, 6.135 is the 2024 rate. So the rate that we're operating on right now is 6.135. 6.165 was 2023's rate. So, and then the other point to that, everybody, this is an estimated rate. So because the properties have not been assessed yet, we don't know what the taxes are going to be, and we don't know what that actual bill will be for the citizens of the city. So this meeting here, and to be honest with you, this is one of the reasons why I communicated to the council that I wasn't going to call this meeting, because anything that we certify is what's going into the mail, that's going out to the public. And it's a guess, because we have not received the digest for this year. We don't know what property values are going to be. So even if we use the same rate we used last year, it is possible that the tax bill for the citizens of this city will increase. The property values increase. And I would argue that when you build a brand new resource center that's worth $3 million, when you have a planned gym that's worth $5 million, when you had at least one major business move to the city, when you consider that the population of our city is now starting to increase over the last couple of years, I suspect that all of that will have an impact on property values in this city. And I don't believe that any type of progress that we're having as a city, and I would argue we're having a lot of good progress in this city, should translate to a punishment to the property owners of this county. So I had no issues with the county or the tax assessor sending out a notice saying that this is the uncertified rate from the citizens from this council, because we simply don't know what the assessed property values are going to be on the properties. But because we're here, because this meeting has been called, I think that we have to certify a rate. And what I would argue, and this is to Councilmember Palmer's point, 2023, the rate was 6.165. We reduced that rate to 6.135 last year. That's a reduction of roughly 0.5%, about 0.48. What I recommend that if we're going to certify a rate today, to ensure that we don't send out an estimated rate that may be higher than property owners are expecting, that we lower the estimated certified rate by at least 0.5%. I would argue to give us some wiggle room there to lower it closer to 0.7%, to ensure we got enough room there. So that's my 2 cents, if you will. But I'll yield the floor.
But bear in mind, these are estimates, we don't have the final figure on the digest, and therefore I think being an estimate, that means it can go up or come down. And we need to, I think, stick with the 6.135, since we don't really know. If we don't approve this, the county's gonna put a dollar figure on there, which is there again, another estimate. Not a mill rate, it will be a dollar figure.
Yeah, but they're gonna put it out there on the anyway.
Now, are we allowed to change the millage rate later on?
To my point, yeah, absolutely. Well, you will have to, because you're gonna get an actual digest later this year. That's gonna tell you what the assessed values are. So hence the reason why this exercise is a bit different.
Well, I was just personally asked, and I think a couple of others at the table were too, if we could do this, it would be beneficial. And so, again, the term best practices kept coming up, and just as a matter of best practices, but again, I'm new to the game, so, I kind of agree with Mr. Palmer that we just keep it as it is and then wait and see what comes out. Because we do have the ability to change.
And so, and that's my point, Councilmember. Why would we have if we can change it, why would we have the county send out an estimated property bill that could be higher than what they paid last year? Why didn't we send a reduced rate? And if that reduction isn't necessarily necessary, we could raise it so that it is still the same amount that the citizens paid last year. This communication, and to Councilman Palmer's point, and just to correct him, there's going to be a dollar figure put on that bill or that estimated bill. And, I suspect, just like what we're doing here, there's going to be a degree of confusion from property owners, especially if that amount is higher than what they paid before. So I don't really see an issue with certifying an estimated rate that is lower than what property owners received last year. If that lower rate wasn't necessary so that the same property owners are paying the same bill that they did last year, we have the ability to change that later this year. So my preference would be, since we're here, is to certify an estimated rate that is lower than what they paid last year. And if we need to adjust that later this year, just do that, versus using the estimated rate from last year that may create an estimated rate that is, or dollar amount now, not rate. I want to make sure we're talking about two different things. There's the rate, and there's the property assessed value, and then there's the dollar amount. So you can have the exact same rate as last year, but the folks still pay a higher bill if the property assessment is higher. And I would suspect that based on the economic activity in this city over the last 18 months, that's a real possibility. But we don't want the property owners to pay that, if you will, and we surely don't want to have them alarmed for the next three to 4 months. But again,
I don't think we know until we finish our budget discussions exactly what we'll need. If we'll see a rate, an increase or not.
no, well, let me say, I'm glad you said that, Councilmember. I'm under the the mindset that we don't raise taxes or utility rates in the city of Camilla. When 40% of the households or children in this town are living below the poverty rate, any proposal that would raise utility rates or property rates, in my mind, would just be cruel. So there, in my mind, there's not even a consideration to raise property rates to make up for revenue in the city. The way you make up revenue is innovation and ideas. You have to do stuff other than say no when you're sitting up here. You have to actually got to come to these meetings with ideas. That's how you supplement whatever you may lose in property revenue. But you don't go and raise taxes on your property owners, and you don't raise utility rates on your ratepayers.
I'm not asking, I don't think we're asking for that, I think we're just asking to leave it the same right now.
But you don't know that, and that's my point. But
We
here's,
don't know we don't know either way, so we were just,
so why not lower it?
because we don't know, it'd be better to get something that you know, and then it become lower, then get something too low, and then it turns out to be high.
Well, the taxpayer in this town will be much happier if we have to lower the rate than to raise it.
Agreed.
Raise is a bad word.
Yeah, literally, that's what I've been saying for the last 10
It
minutes.
makes no sense to lower it and then have to go back and raise it. That doesn't make any sense.
But you wouldn't raise it.
Well, that's what you just said.
No, sir. If
If what you're saying is if the digest doesn't go up as much as you're saying, then you've got to raise whatever kind of rate you
Or
want.
adjust.
or adjust, and you have to adjust it so that the amount that the taxpayer is paying now
That's right.
will not have to pay it. So again, but here's the thing though, council, here's the beauty of our democracy. Just know that if you use the rate from last year, if you do not lower it in this estimated rate, there's a potential that the bill that is printed in 2 weeks that are sent out to property owners, that bill potentially will be higher than what it was last year. That's a guarantee.
But it will be an estimate. I get them all the time and they always say estimate.
Sir, if you want to estimate a higher rate, you're not accepted. I mean, that is completely up to this council.
That's what an estimate is. Could be higher, could be lower.
So why not send out a lower rate?
Because that makes no sense to put a higher rate out there and then you got, a lower rate, and you got to turn around and raise it.
Well, that is the good news about our democracy, council member. Here in a minute, you guys want to take a vote. In roughly 3 weeks, the property owners of this city is going to get a bill. So,
They get an estimate now, not a bill,
That
an
was-
estimate.
so again, I say it again, why not send them an estimate that is lower? But that's just me. All right, any other comments? All right, so council, at this time, is there a motion for an estimated rate to be transmitted to the tax authority here in Mitchell County?
I'll make that motion 6.135.
Second.
I have a motion that's been properly second. Any discussion? All right. All right, so council, at this time, resolution number 2025-06-30-1. This resolution, a resolution by Mayor and Council of the City of Camilla, Georgia, to certify the estimated rollback rate for the City of Camilla for 2025 and other lawful purposes. Just looking for the paragraph for the estimated rate. Okay. All right, so this resolution, everybody has 6.135 as submitted in the motion that has been seconded. Any other discussion? All right. And let me just say for the record, Council. That the reduction that equates to 2023 to 2024, that rate would be the same 0.48 or 0.48, or about half a percent, would be 6.105. That's roughly the same exact rate that was reduced from 2023 to 2024. And again, that's the estimated rate. So if anybody was wondering what that number is, that's what that millage rate would be, 6.105, which is 0.5% lower than the 6.135. But again, that's just for the record and just for your knowledge. All right, any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, let's do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Maples,
No.
Councilman Palmer,
Yes.
The mayor votes no. Motion fails. Is there a substitute motion to lower the estimated certified rate from 6.135 to 6.105? Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion. To make it 6.105. Second.
Now, motion is properly second. Any discussion? Only thing that I would say is to reiterate what everyone else has said here. Even with this lower rate, here in a few months, we're going to get the actual digest and tell us what we're looking at. If there is a deficiency as it relates to the revenue that we received from the 6.135 of last year, we have the ability to make that the exact same amount, which does not increase the property taxes for the citizens of this city. And what they're going to get here in a couple of 3 weeks, at best, is a property bill that we can say with a straight face that we recommended a millage rate that was lower than the previous year. So if the assessed values are through the roof, this council can say, you didn't have anything to do with that. You voted to lower the rate. And that would be a bona fide fact by resolution 2025-06-30-1. That's the only trying to use the right word. That is the only non-political statement that I wanted members of this council to be able to say. When you're in Walmart, when you're at the gas station, that you can look the citizenry in the eyes and say, I voted to lower your taxes, your property tax. Worst case scenario, we know that their property tax bill will not be higher than what it was last year. This rate of 6.105 guarantees that. So me personally, I appreciate the motion and the second. Because that's an easy conversation to have with the constituency, in my mind. So, and Madam Clerk, let the record show that Councilmember Morgan arrived before the actual vote of the substitute motion. All right. Any other comments?
I just add, for the record, I've been tuning in Berkeley.
Oh, yes, sir.
I'm pretty proud of what we did.
Okay, fair enough.
The conversation changed.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I just wanna be assured that we do have the ability to change this at a later date.
And as has been said here multiple times, this is an estimated rate. The only thing that you did here today, if this motion passes, is that you guarantee that you're not giving an estimated rate that is higher than what went out last year. And you will have the ability later this year to make the revenue the exact same as it was this year. But if I'm being completely honest, this council, a majority of it anyway, voted to add a few different businesses for the first time in this city's history. By the end of this year, we're going to have at least, regardless of how you feel about it morally, we're going to have at least 2, if not 3, as voted on by the citizens of this city, package stores in this city. That's going to be revenue estimated to be somewhere near 6 figures that you've never had before. And I suspect that this would be, even if the revenue for the property taxes is lower, that's one of the reasons why the majority of this council made that referendum that the citizens of this city voted to the tune of 70-30 approved, because we have been losing a tremendous amount of revenue to the county and to other municipalities when that money should be staying here in terms of package sales taxes, if you will. This is how you keep property taxes and utility rates low, by trying to figure out how do you get other revenue without the punishment to the citizenry. So me personally, I'm not even concerned about what the final digest is going to look like, because I know that there's other revenue that's coming in that the city has never had before. And I suspect it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about close to 6 figures. And I think that is, I think that is tremendous. Not to mention the taxes that we're getting from the 8 cents that we're getting every time somebody buys a hamburger from Jack's, the Pickle Patch. These are all businesses that just popped up within the last year. So we have to be very deliberate when we're talking about taxes and that kind of stuff. But that's just my point. That's my point.
One other point is,
Yes, sir.
Any business or new construction that is completed this year will not be on this tax list.
Yeah, so we're talking about in terms of the property taxes, in terms of the revenue, either in the fiscal year or out of the fiscal year, that money is coming in. So the city doesn't lose anything, if you will. We're fine. And again, the composition of this council, regardless of what it's going to look like, pre-election, post-election, doesn't matter. I would just like every elected official, whoever's sitting on this dais, just to understand, you got 40% of your kids going to bed longer than that, living on the property line. Any suggestion of raising taxes on anybody, or any suggestion of raising rates, utility rates on anybody, in my mind, would just be cruel. Just food for thought when this council takes up those questions for real. But to your point, Councilmember Green, this council will have an opportunity once it gets to digest. And I really don't like the idea of us even having to have this conversation, talking about estimates, if you will, because it's going to cause a tremendous amount of confusion, I suspect. This is one of the things I was trying to pull up. The city of Camilla, we pay the lowest, our property owners pay the lowest tax in this county. By far. I think the closest city to us is 10%. Or 10 meals, rather, I'm sorry. So. Moving on. Trying to see if it popped up, I want to show it to you, but you're fine. So, yeah, but I get it. Any other comments? All right, council, just bring it to speed. You got a replacement, motion, at 6.105 meals, to be transmitted to the county's, tax authority via resolution 2025-06-30-1. We have a motion to the proper second. Any other discussion? All right, council, that's 6.105. All right, Madam Clerk, your roll call vote.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Maples,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas,
No.
All right, motion carries. All right, thank you, council. All right, any other, it appears we have reached, before I do that, Madam Attorney, any statements, any questions, any concerns?
Provide that estimated rate in the resolution. Our office has recommended that, jurisdictions do that via resolution. And so, I think it also directs the city manager to send that to the county for recording. So yeah, that would be the final direction on certifying estimated rollback rate.
Okay, motion as is, and with that extra, but motion as is good to go.
Yeah, the motion, I think, will certify a rate, excuse me, and we'll just have that on the resolution. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, so council members, it appears that we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any other business? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good. Yeah, so. At least three.
Take off.